Well, Jane Ace has a new idea on how to balance her household budget. She learned last night there was a place she could borrow money. All she has to do is to obtain 2 signatures on a note. Having shown a loss of $13 a week for 2 weeks, she hopes to borrow some money to balance her budget. This episode takes place in alternating scenes between the loan company and Mr. Ace's real estate office. But first to the loan company, where we find Jane applying for a loan. Listen.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
What can I do for you this morning?
Well, I'd like to look at some of that money you advertised to lend.
You'd like to look at it?
Yes, this is a friendly loan and finance company, isn't it? You lend it, don't you?
Well, yes, of course, but it all depends.
Depends.
Oh, won't you have a chair, madam?
Thank you.
Is this your first application for a loan here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Why, your ad didn't say I have to have experience.
Well, no, experience?
Beg pardon?
What's that?
What?
Now, let's take this over again. You say you're applying for a loan, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How much do you want to borrow?
$100.
$100, yes. Do you have security?
Oh, yes.
I see. What kind of security?
Oh, the security every girl feels she ought to have when she marries a man who makes a nice living for her. Because I always say a wife should take the bitter with the better. And things were much better before my husband started me on a budget. But now that they're bitter, that doesn't mean they won't get better. That's why I'm here.
Now, let's take this over again. You say you're applying for the loan of $100. Is that correct?
Yes, $100.
Yes. I then asked you the usual form question number 1. Have you security?
Yes, and I told you
Madam, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about collateral. Collateral or security you can put up against the loan.
Now, let's take this over again. I want to borrow $100.
Yes, $100.
I was talking to Mrs. Benton last night. She told me about this place, and she showed me the ad where you advertise you lend money. And she said all I have to do is to get 2 people to sign a note, and I get $100.
Oh, I see. You wish the 2 signature loan. Well, that simplifies matters. Yes.
Yes.
Here we are. I'll fill this out for you. May I have your name, please?
Jane Ace.
Jane?
Ace. A-C-E.
Ace. Mrs.?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Ace.
I see. Your husband is employed?
Well, he's in the real estate business.
Real estate. For himself?
Yes,
or...
he has an office.
Oh, yes, in business for himself. And you, Mrs. Ace, do you work?
Me? Oh, no, Mr. Ace wouldn't think of letting me.
I see. Now, may I ask for what purpose you wish this loan?
Well, it's on account of a budget Mr. Ace made me start. Every week I've had a loss. The first week I lost $13, and the second week I lost $13. He expects me to have a profit every week. And I guess I could. Only things happen each week that I don't expect, and I have a loss. Well, when I try to explain to Mr. Ace about it, he just says that he gives me enough money to run the house, and I have to worry about paying all the bills. Well, this week I have the groceries bill to pay. Next week it'll be something else. So I thought if I could borrow the money, I could pay the bills.
Money to be used to pay household bills.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. Of course, you understand our policy.
Beg pardon?
You can make the payments weekly or monthly, but in either case, they must be made regularly. In case of a payment omission, a penalty accrues. And if omissions occur too often, the company reserves the right to collect from either or both the endorsees.
I want to borrow $100.
Of course, I understand. But I was only trying to make sure you understand our policy. I was saying that if you don't make your payments promptly, you are fined. And if you fail to make 2 payments promptly, whether they be by the week or month, we can call on your co-signers to pay the note. Oh, by the way, how do you expect to make these payments?
How?
Yes, I have to fill that in right here. How will you make the payment?
Oh, promptly.
Promptly? No, you're making me write the wrong things here. I'll take a fresh blank. I mean, how? By the week or the month?
Oh, by the month, I guess.
Monthly payments, yes. Now, yes. This is another form you'll have to fill out with your husband's signature.
My husband?
Yes, he just signs right here. I'll place an X right at the...
But does my husband have to know about this money I'm borrowing?
You mean to say you're borrowing this money without your husband's knowledge?
Well, yes, I thought I was.
Oh, no, not here. Our company makes it a very strict rule that when a husband borrows money, he must bring in his wife's signature and vice versa. It's one of our very first rules.
Well, I didn't know that. The way Mrs. Benton told me, I thought all I had to do was to get 2 people to sign the note. Now you say I have to get my husband and 2 people to sign the note?
Well, your husband doesn't sign the note. You get him to sign this form.
But not the 2 people?
No, get your husband alone.
Get my husband a loan? I'm the one that wants to get a loan.
Yes, I understand. You want to get a loan.
But you just said to get Mr. Ace a loan.
Not get him a loan. Get him a loan on this form.
Get him a loan. There, you said it again.
But when I say a loan, I don't mean a loan.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean get him a loan.
You feel all right, Mr.
Bailey, and I feel fine, or I did. Look, Mrs. Ace, I was speaking of this form to be filled out by you and signed by your husband.
Yes, now tell it slow or you'll get mixed
I'm
up.
trying to explain it clearly, madam. You asked if the two co-signers had to sign this, and I said no.
Yes.
I said get your husband a loan.
There, now what did you just say?
I said get him a loan.
Well, I hate to get sarcastic, Mr. Bailey, but I keep saying I'm the one that wants to get the loan.
The loan, but not a loan. Now, do you see?
Is this the first loan you ever made, Mr. Bailey?
Yes, this is the... No, this is not... Look, madam, I've tried to explain to you the policy of our company in making loans. I've been very patient with you, but I'll try just once more. You must get your husband.
Oh, hello, Dave. Come on in. I was waiting for you.
Hi, Ace. I came over as soon as I could. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. And you?
Well, how's Mrs. Ace?
Well, if you like Mrs. A, she's all right.
Well, what'd you call me over for? You want me to write you some more insurance?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
I thought I loaded you up pretty well.
I'll say you loaded me up. You know that last annuity thing you sold me?
Yeah?
Yeah, you said I wouldn't miss the money I had to pay on that every month?
Yeah?
Well, I paid it for nearly 2 years, and I've missed it every month. But what I called you about is this, Dave. I need some cash.
Who doesn't?
Well, I need quite a bit of cash, and I'd like to borrow on some of my insurance.
Sure thing.
Oh, easy as that?
Easier. Now, how much you going to need?
$3,500.
$3,500.
Yeah, you see, I've got a chance to grab the biggest bargain in real estate I've ever run across. I can double my money in no time, but I need just $3,500 to get this bargain. I could go to the bank, but I don't want to. There are several reasons. The most important is that I don't want to start explaining to those guys down there just where this property is. I'm in on the real ground floor of this one, and I want to grab it while the grabbing's good.
I get you.
Now, how about being a pal and drawing up the necessary papers and getting me the cash as soon as you can?
Sure thing.
How long do you think that'll be?
Oh, no time at all, practically. Just as long as it'll take you to make out the usual forms.
Fine. Can you get them over today?
Well, I might. How about Mrs. Ace?
Mrs. Ace, what about her?
Well, can you get her over here to sign?
Well, what does she have to sign? I'm the one
Yes,
that...
well, you see, the insurance has been assigned to Mrs. Ace, and you can't borrow on it without her signature.
Oh, I see.
Of course, it's a matter of form.
Oh, sure, I understand. I was just thinking, though, I guess I'll have to take the papers home this evening and have Mrs. A sign them there.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll have them over to you this afternoon.
Will you, Dave? I'll appreciate it.
Sure, and I hope you put over the deal.
Oh, I'll get her to sign them tonight and have them over to you first thing in the morning. I should get some action then, shouldn't I?
Absolutely. I'll start the ball rolling right away. I'll hop right on over and get this. See you later.
And that is why our company insists on getting your husband's signature on this form. Now, I hope I've made it perfectly clear. Have I?
Yes, but I'm afraid that's going to be the fly in the oatmeal.
The fly in the...
Because I wanted to do this without his knowing about it, like he does at his office. When he needs money in his business, he always borrows it, and I don't know anything about it. I never signed anything for him.
Well, I suppose he has credit at his bank. Either his own signature is all that is necessary, or he has some security. Now, if you had the right security, we could do away with all these details. You have a car?
Beg pardon?
You have a car?
Oh, yes, we've got a car. Why?
In whose name is it?
Ford.
Who's that?
Who?
What?
What's going on here? Didn't you ask me the name of our car?
Yes, I said in whose name is the car? Who owns it, you or your husband?
Oh, who owns it?
Yes.
Well, I never thought of it like that. I guess we both own it. We both ride around it whenever we want to.
But it must belong to one of you. Maybe this will simplify it. Are there initials on it?
Initials?
Yes. Whose initials are on it?
B8.
No, Mrs. A's.
Well, you asked me what
Oh,
initials...
let's forget about it. We'll just make your loan a two-signature loan. This is the note you get two people to sign. Of course, they must be responsible parties, either regularly employed or in business. And, of course, the Friendly Loan and Finance Company reserves the right to reject any or all signatures.
Well, it doesn't sound very friendly the way you tell us.
Well, after all, it's business, Mrs. A's. Now, this is the note. And you see I've checked where you sign and where the others sign.
2 signers. There has to be 2, huh?
Yes, there must be 2 co-signers.
And I can get the $100?
Well, we must make sure the 2 people who sign it are responsible parties. If they're not, we can't accept their signatures.
Well, then what happens?
Then you must get somebody else. If we accept one and not the other, you must get one more before you can get your $100.
Well, couldn't I get $50 for one signature?
Of course not. There must be two signers.
And my husband.
Yes, but your husband is not a co-signer. He merely signs this other form.
Yes, I understand about that, and that's where I'm afraid I'm going to have trouble.
Oh, I don't think so. The trouble most of our customers usually have is in finding the two co-signers.
Oh, I won't have any trouble about that. I've got one already. There's a girl. She's my best friend. She lives with us.
Is she a responsible person? I mean, is she employed?
Oh, yes, she works. She's got a very good job. She'll sign it.
I hope so.
What do you mean you hope so? She's my best friend.
Well, I wouldn't place too much faith in that, Mrs. Ace. If you really need this money as badly as you say you do, I'd certainly have a few other friends in mind just in case. Especially if you need the money as urgently as you say you do.
Oh, yes, I need it right away.
Yes, of course. Now, Mrs. Ace, just what kind of a loan did you have in mind?
What kind?
Yes, do you want a 60-day loan, a 90-day loan? Or
90 days? Oh, no, I need it much sooner than that.
No. I said a 90-day loan.
I heard you, and if it's going to take that long to get it.
Oh, horse feathers, if I may borrow an expression.
Well, who's borrowing here, you or I? What's going on here anyway?
Well, both Jane and Mr. Ace have some important business to talk to each other about, both concerning the signing of papers. Just how they make out and how Jane makes out getting signers for her notes, we learn when next we meet the Easy Aces.